Hello, and welcome to the BLB podcast, where I get to interview special guests about their story and what resilience means to them. Hi, Ihsan. How are you?
I'm very well, Amanda. How are you?
Really well, really well. This is our first Zoom together doing these episodes.
Yes, it is.
And let's introduce you properly. So Ihsan Tuncel is a functional trainer. He used to be my functional trainer as well. Integrated movement science coach and you trained at the Czech Institute, right?
Yes, I did. Correct.
And you also became a holistic lifestyle coach and you've studied NLP.
Correct. Yeah. Yes, correct. Yeah. Neuro-linguistic program.
I think that you are a wealth of knowledge, and that is why you and I have fused together the different training that we've had so that we can help people to de-stress and to reset from change, stress, illness, all the above.
Yes, definitely. Yes, for sure. I think we could both help a lot of people who are, struggling at the moment. Especially after the COVID period. I think there's a lot of people that have been challenged, and I'm ready to do my part as I'm sure you are.
Yes.
And all right. And so what are your qualifications, Amanda?
I'm a sports kinesiologist, which is a fusion of sports science and kinesiology, and I studied at the Australian College of Complementary Medicine. Gosh, it would have been in 2011 I graduated, or was it 2012?
Okay.
And and since then I've done many more master classes with people like Charles Krebs, who's an amazing kinesiologist who's also a brain scientist. And my speciality is autoimmune disease. I myself have multiple sclerosis. I was diagnosed when I was 24, and 5 years after that I was paralyzed in a wheelchair. And I really had to work hard and figure out how to repair my mind and body. And so that led me on a path to leave my fashion career to study kinesiology, because a kinesiologist worked in conjunction with a neurophysiotherapist to help me to walk again. And I did walk and I ran again after they thought I wouldn't. And so it really inspired me to understand the body on an emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical level, because we really are encompassing all those parts. And I've been in remission for 13 years now. So I have a lot to share after much study and a lot of personal experience on my own journey, but also with my clients that I see at my private practice called Ben Like Bamboo.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, and now you and I are going to share our knowledge together in retreats that we're starting.
Oh, yes, we have some retreats planned, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that soon. But today we're going to talk about what stresses us out and what can we do about it.
Correct. Yes, I think it's a very important topic because I think we're living in a society that is overloaded with stress.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't address it, then stress can turn into something quite negative in many ways.
And it can play out, physically, mentally, biochemically, through our skin, through our behavior, our reactions, the decisions that we make, how we show up in life. Stress impacts us personally and professionally. Yeah. So maybe a few examples personally is stress can, affect our behavior, how we think, how we feel. And how we think and how we feel dictates our biochemistry. And I know you work in the same way, Ihsan, where, it's typically the one or two pathways that we're firing in our bodies. We're either in that stress response of adrenaline, cortisol, fight or flight or freeze response. And that's important to keep us alive. And, that's our dominant pathway. But many of us are stuck in that fight or flight response, or even addicted to it. Yeah. So a lot of my work is getting to the bottom of with my clients, and also I had to do for myself and continue, in a maintenance program, having to do that every single day. But particularly when I was repairing from illness, what's pushing me into that stress response? And it's different for everybody, so that you can get your brain to change your mind about whether it's perceiving threat or not. And that can be, and that's what we're talking about today, is what stresses us out, what causes us to perceive threat. And I see so many different examples of that. It can be for obvious reasons like trauma or accidents or not eating well, a toxic environment, medications, illness, an operation.
Yeah.
But it's also for reasons that people don't really think of, such as inner conflict, having a goal but not believing in yourself, not believing you can make things happen. What do you think, Ihsan? What else causes stress for people?
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, I think stress is perception based. So you might have two people that are involved in a car accident on separate incidents, and these two people will have totally different responses to that car accident. Whereas person A, let's call this person, might get highly stressed, really stressed over their car, that it's damaged. That they might have a strong connection to their car, and they might really respond in a very, I guess, distressing way to that incident. Whereas person B might just say, oh, look, I'm fine, I'm safe. It was only my car. I can replace my car. And might not really affect them in a stressful way at all. So that's what I mean by perception based. I think we can actually amplify and create our own stress. And as you said before, we can be addicted to this process.
Especially when we wake up in the morning and we smash a coffee or two, and then we watch the news and we're creating, there's all this external and biochemical stimuli that,
Yes.
further exacerbates that stress response. But we're just so used to it that we don't even think about it. We're on autopilot. But when you start eliminating all the different factors that can push you into that stress response, you find your center again. And when you find your center, you find your inner anchor. And just like a bamboo tree has to be anchored to be flexible and to bend in direct proportion to the wind, us too, we must find our own inner anchor. And that's deep work there.
Yeah, correct.
And it's our passion to help people to find that inner anchor, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a very overlooked area, stress. As you and I both know, it can cause a lot of harm and damage to one's body, mind,
Relationships,
everything. Yeah.
our connection within ourselves, whether we'll show up for that, push ourselves in our lives,
Yeah.
push
And,
ourselves out of our comfort zone.
Correct. And the thing about stress, Amanda, I'm sure you agree is that stress summates in the body. It accumulates, and stress is good, but only at the right dose. And everyone's stress tolerance is different. There are a lot of factors involved, like their overall health. I find certain people can handle a lot more stress than others. But at the end of the day, stress does summate in the body, and it accumulates, and it's going to look for a path of release. And what I've found with my clients is that stress is going to find the least path of resistance to release itself. And that could be in the form of anger, or could be in the form of a sickness or an injury. Wherever there's a path in the nervous system that has already been traversed over, stress seeks that path, because it always seeks the least path of resistance. And when it accumulates to a certain level, it's going to come out in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. And we can notice that in our lives where we become accident prone, or we're not performing at our best. And the formula that helps us to reduce stress not only promotes repair in the body, but it also promotes performance. Because when I'm coaching people at work, or whether I'm at my private practice helping my clients to repair from mental or physical illness, it's the same formula. It's getting to the bottom of what stresses you out. And, the most important thing to think about, other than the most obvious things that cause stress, is what's going on in your mind. What are you thinking every day? How are you feeling? What are you believing? What are you believing about yourself and what can be possible for you? Because if that's not in alignment with your goals, there's this constant inner conflict going on that will play out in sabotage. And guess what? That also exacerbates the stress response, but we don't talk about that. We don't realize that. I actually think that stress can be the most toxic.
Okay.
That inner conflict where, because you're
100%,
able to manifest what you want in your life either. And that's what bruise in the nervous system that can create those more serious issues. So how do we identify what we're believing? our reactions. So person A, person B, right? They both wake up and they have the same morning. Person A wakes up and they're feeling pretty stressed. They're in rush and clutter. They're not feeling good about themselves. They're not feeling good about what can be possible for them. And they're late to work because they lose their keys. This is how they might react. Oh, of course I lost my keys. Not another thing today. Because they were already believing that nothing really works out for me, and losing the keys was just a trigger making that belief true, right? So we see through those lenses, and that's how we react. The person B wakes up and they're late for work because they lose their keys, but they're feeling pretty good within themselves. Their self-esteem and confidence is beaming. Therefore, they believe in themselves and what can be possible for their lives and their future. They lose their keys and they're late to work. This is how they might respond.
Yeah.
Oh, crap, I lost my keys. Bugger. Oh, well, I'll just catch an Uber and I'll figure it out later. You're more solution focused. You're less reactive. So therefore, you're going to promote growth and repair pathways instead of survival and stress. So as you said before, it's a perception thing. But how do you control your perception? By identifying what you're believing. And with a flexible mindset, we can change our minds about what we're believing, because it's just a story we're telling ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, very, very good points there, Amanda. And also what I found with stress, because I've coached many clients that have high levels of stress, is that they don't realize that stress at a cellular level, the body perceives the source of stress purely as stress. So you might be having issues with a partner, or financial issues, or issues at work. You might be having issues with excess electromagnetic pollution in your life. Too much phone, too much Wi-Fi. Nutritional stress in the form of overly processed foods devoid of nutrition. Thermal stress. So a lot of people don't realize that we're living in air-conditioned buildings. And then when the weather warms up, we turn on the aircon. When the weather cools down, we turn on the heater. So we're not actually exposed to fluctuating temperatures, which we're designed for. And we might have chemical stress. So stress comes in many shapes and forms, but at a cellular level, the body just translates that into stress, and it has the same effect regardless of where it comes from. So there are many forms of stress that I feel are overlooked.
That's so true. And that, because we're not really exposed to the elements as we should be. That's why I love getting away to the beach or to a rainforest, which is why these retreats are going to be exactly in those kinds of environments, because it's the perfect place to reset by the water, nature.
Reconnect with self and nature,
Yeah, it makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've identified what causes stress. So what can we do about it?
Okay, so what I personally do with my clients is I give them a thorough assessment, and it shows me their overall physiological stress load. And that gives me a starting base on how I'm going to coach them, because what we're taught at the Czech Institute is that if you're not assessing, then you're guessing. So this takes a lot of the guesswork out. I assess them, and once I see an overall picture of their nutrition, their lifestyle, and their stress load, then I come up with a plan of attack. So if they're too stressed, then what a lot of people don't realize is, Amanda, is that if they're overly stressed, then adding more stress in the form of exercise is not necessarily a good thing.
It pushes them further into that stress response, which is why, what's the difference between restorative exercise versus strength, interval and, cardio?
Yeah. So if they're highly stressed, then I say, all right, so movement is still a form of medicine, but what we want to do is, if you're highly stressed, is that we don't want to add more stress to your system by doing HIIT training or overly lifting heavy weights. What we want to do is we just want to move the body in the form of maybe Tai Chi.
Like restorative exercise like that, where it's more about stretching and slow movement, low impact.
Correct.
What about swimming? Because swimming's low impact.
Yes, I would definitely recommend swimming. But another thing is that if you've got high levels of chemical toxicity, which is another form of stress, if you're going into a swimming pool which is flooded with chlorine and a few other chemicals, it could push you over the limit, sorry,
Yeah,
limit in terms of stress.
depending. And
Yeah, but
also because of the lymphatic movement that will happen and the concentric and eccentric training when you're in the pool, which is so amazing because, you know, you move forward, you're exercising your quads, you move back, you exercise your hamstrings, all at the same, like it's all happening. Do you
it's an
think,
amazing form of movement, swimming, definitely.
but
And
it
slow
could
impact,
create stress if there's some blockages in the body, do you think, or not necessarily?
Yeah, well, what I've found is, Amanda, is that women are 3 times more toxic than men in terms of chemical. And that's because women are exposed to a lot more chemicals, and in the
Because
form
of
of like,
makeup and beauty
beauty
products
products.
and
Yeah, they use a lot more products, and so I found women are a bit highly more exposed to toxins, whereas myself, like all I have is a bar of soap in my bathroom. So
yeah.
so that can be a factor, definitely. And I think women, I find women are a bit more delicate than men, so a bit more, I guess. So I refer to women as a Ferrari. Probably you need to look after the woman a bit more, maybe garage it, etc. But men, they can handle a bit more stress.
Okay.
And I think that's due to evolution.
Yeah. Okay.
So we are equal, but we're not necessarily always the same.
Well, that's true. That is very true. So you don't moisturize, you don't put sunscreen on.
I do, but I always make sure it's
Chemical
plant-based,
free.
earth-based here, like coconut oil I use.
Yep.
And, the best sunscreen is hydration. So I make sure I'm very, very hydrated and hydrated with mineral-rich water, whereas a lot of people expose themselves to the sun in a dehydrated state.
Yeah, drinking alcohol, all that. Yeah. There's some really good brands of really fantastic chemical-free sunscreen. One's called Sunday.
Okay.
There's quite a few, and organic deodorants that don't have all the
Yeah.
chemicals and aluminium.
Sure.
There are so many, even in the supermarket now. They're just everywhere. So
there are many,
every
many, good
and every
alternatives.
choice we make with what we eat and what we put on our skin and what we're using, and it's a choice. It's a choice every day. It accumulates.
It does, yeah. And look, and to finish off your question, I after the assessment, I just come up with a individualized program where we address lifestyle and nutrition. And what we want to do is we want to lower their physiological stress load and get them into a state where they're closer to homeostasis.
So you ask them lots of questions about their morning routine and what they do during the day. Like, is that lifestyle questions?
Yeah, everything. So I assess their diet, their lifestyle, and also I check their thoughts, their emotions, their beliefs. Beliefs, all of these, because they all, as you said, have an impact on our health. And then we come up with a holistic plan that is going to be easy to implement. So I've got to check with the client, realistically, are they going to be what they're able to implement at this stage of their life? And for some people, it's going to take a little bit longer, which is fine, as long as we are making slow but steady improvements, and you can totally turn your health around with a individualized holistic approach.
And a customized approach, because everybody's different. I work in a similar way as well. I've designed these forms that help me to assess.
How do you do it? How do you go about it, Amanda?
I send digital forms to my clients that help me to identify structural, biochemical, emotional, and electromagnetic imbalances. I also dive into their childhood, their mum, their dad, their siblings, and what their beliefs were growing up, and therefore what they're believing now still, and therefore what's the story they're telling themselves. And then I show them how to create a flexible mindset, so that we can change our minds about what we're thinking and what we're feeling about and what we're believing, if that's causing stress. So the way I explain that is, there's an amazing lady called Carolyn Meese, and she shared this analogy
I know that name
with me. She's incredible. And I saw her speak live, and she shared this analogy, which I'll share today as well, because it's a really useful way of talking about stress. So if you imagine a tall building, and there's the ground floor of the building, and that's where we see the world when we're stressed, where all you can see is a limited point of view. All you can see is what's in front of you, and we're very reactive here. But as we grow and we push ourselves in our lives, and we get out of our comfort zone, we progress to the next level. And then level 1, level 2, like, Mario Brothers games, ding, 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 go to the next level of the game. There'll be moments in your life where you've just reached a new dimension on your life journey, and life's never going to be the same again. And as we grow and we emerge and we elevate. And as we elevate and we imagine you reach the penthouse of the building, and when you can achieve this mindset, a more elevated mindset, you can see all the streets, you can connect all the dots of why things are happening. Yeah. You feel like things are happening for you, not to you. You get the cosmic joke. Now from here, you can access more elevated emotions of love, joy, compassion, forgiveness, and resilience, as opposed to lower, denser emotions, which we will access on the ground floor when we're stressed, of anger, shame, worry, guilt, rage, etc., pensiveness. And that's how it feels when you're on the ground floor. You're stuck in your head, you're overthinking usually the past or the future, you're checked out, living on autopilot. You drive home, you can't even remember how you got there. But when you're on the penthouse, you're not as stuck in the past or the future, you're more present, and you feel internally anchored, more blissfully connected and happy. And therefore we can have a more flexible mindset. So after I assess my clients and I go through their whole life journey and their story and their symptoms and what's going on with them structurally, biochemically, emotionally, then I will run them through a new morning and evening ritual that helps them to elevate their mindset, to see things from the penthouse rather than from the ground floor. And I do that with journaling and meditation, because it's a great way to bring things into their awareness as we're making changes and working through stuff. In the morning, they'll answer certain questions like, what's my intention today? And by writing that down, the brain focuses on that new positive mindset. And it's good to touch base and measure how you're feeling emotionally and physically. And there's just a bunch of questions in the morning and evening that are really helpful in the journaling. And of course, when we're meditating, we're going back to that deep, restful state where we're promoting growth and repair instead of survival and stress, creating that flexible mindset.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I love the analogy. That's very powerful. So, and very, a lot of wisdom there from that lady. I've actually got 2 of her books here.
Awesome. She's written a few books. She's really cool. And she's also got some really cool online courses. She's worth checking out. MYSS, Carolyn Meese.
Yeah. Is that book Soul Contract? Is that her?
I'm not sure about Soul Contract, but she's got she's all about archetypes.
Oh, I love archetypes.
We've got one of her books right here. I've got so many books behind me. And she's got Anatomy of an Illness, I believe.
Anatomy of the Spirit?
Yeah, it could be that one.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Maybe Anatomy of an Illness is another author. So Anatomy of the Spirit. They're both good books. So let's talk about how we're going to help people with our retreats. I'm so excited about doing these retreats, Ihsan.
Yeah. They're going to be amazing.
You've been doing them for a while now. Tell me how they've been going.
Yeah, I think I've had 8 or 9 retreats this year. I've lost count.
They look so cool on your Instagram. So if you want to check it out, guys, jump on Ihsan's Instagram, which is Ihsan Tuncel, TUNCEL, coaching on Instagram, and just his name for Facebook. They look so much fun. You're preparing organic meals and you're drinking cocoa, is it, in the mornings?
Oh, I make a homemade rose milk, or
wow,
or from an almond base, cocoa, warm chili cocoa.
Beautiful. Like that. Just the nutrition and what you guys are cooking up, and everybody's walking on hikes together, and then you're doing Tai Chi together. So what kind of transformations are you noticing with people from when they come to when they're ready to go?
Well, probably the most amazing thing from the retreats is the way the people connect with one another. And the friendships they create. I just love seeing that. It's very,
so nice.
Warms your heart just seeing people connect, and just shows you how beautiful the human spirit is when we're in an environment that's closer to nature, and there's no deadlines, there's no work, worry, things like that. I think humans really release their the beautiful side that we all possess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess my main idea behind the retreats was just to unwind, unplug from the chaos of life, reconnect with self, reconnect with nature, and reconnect with other like-minded humans, and just experience beautiful homemade organic meals, and just to
There's so much healing that would just happen
yeah,
in those kind of spaces.
yeah,
And
relax.
and then you obviously, do some of your workshops as a part of the
Yeah,
retreats.
yeah. We do breath work.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few optional ones like cold water therapy, which not everyone wants to do, which is fine. But we do things like that where we do sun gazing, earthing. We do many activities. Yeah.
Well, they're going to offer that at the Peninsula Hot Springs when we do them there, with the cold therapy and the clay therapy as well.
Awesome.
So that'll be an option when we
awesome.
do the retreats there, and just beautiful, luxurious environments to not only do all the workshops together, but then to go off and do your own thing and relax in the afternoon as well, and have a beauty treatment or a spa, or jump into the pools, the hot springs. There's going to be so many cool things that we're going to do together. But I've been watching you and what you've been doing, Ihsan. It's really inspiring, the space that you created for people to come together and to reset and recharge. It's everybody really needs this now.
Thank you. And so what do you envision with our retreats, Amanda? What do you see?
Well, I'm really passionate about helping people to understand how they can feel more resilient within themselves. We're going to do some workshops on resilience and mindset, how to catch ourselves in our reactions, and therefore understanding more and more what we're believing and how we can change our mind about the stories that we tell ourselves. We're going to do movement programs. We're going to learn more about nutrition and recipes, and how to cook with ease at home where it's fun, reconnecting with beautiful meditations. And so I think we'll do some workshops in the morning. We'll eat beautiful food together for breakfast and lunch. I know you love hiking, so we're going to do some hiking in the afternoons.
Oh yeah.
Or some Tai Chi on the beach, some yoga. I don't know, we'll mix it up, but we'll definitely be doing some workshops versus activities, and then just chilling out together and bonding, and the intimacy is so important. And I think we'll learn from our clients as they're coming with what they're wanting, perhaps some Q&As at the end, or I don't know, we'll see.
Awesome. I think it will be an amazing event, and I'm excited. I can't wait. And I already have. I'm very vision based, so I like to like with my personal retreats. I had visions of what they were going to be like, and they turned out exactly as I had envisioned them. And I think it will be the same working together with you.
Great.
We can both we can add so much to people's lives, and just guide them to healing and wellness and vitality.
I think you and I are also going to be doing a lot of healing with everybody too. And because we have, the nutrition side of things and the movement and mindset, there's just so much content there. Yeah. I think it's not going to be hard to do them really regularly, if not every month. And we'll have some beautiful high-end ones, and then we'll have some smaller ones, more boutique-y ones. So all this information will be on our websites, and check out our social media probably for up and coming dates. So Ben Like Bamboo, or Amanda Speaker for me, and Ihsan Tuncel for Ihsan. Thank you so much for coming on this Zoom with me today, Ihsan, and for sharing this experience of doing retreats together with you. I'm really, really happy about it.
Yeah, for sure. And if people want to contact you, Amanda, where can they find you?
bendlikebamboo.com.
Awesome. All right.
And you can email me just at amanda@bendlikebamboo.com, and all the information's on the website. What about you?
Yeah, my website is under construction at the moment. So I'm on pretty heavy on social media. So I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. So
beautiful. Well, we will have our website up soon for the retreats, and we'll be sharing it all over our social media.
Yes.
Well, thanks for today, Ihsan.
Thank you, Amanda. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope everybody enjoyed a bit of wisdom here from Amanda and I.
This episode 1, there'll be many more to come.
All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Bend Like Bamboo podcast. Please rate and share the episode with your community or anyone you think may need to hear this episode. If you would like any help with maximizing well-being and flexibility in your life personally, you can see me one-on-one at the private practice in Melbourne or on Zoom if you are not local. You can book in or find more info at bendlikebamboo.com. If you would like help remotely, I have a resilience program you can do as an online course with 6 ebooks and videos on mind, body, food, connection that include resilience and tools that can help you to feel happier and healthier after rebuilding from change, stress, or illness. If you would like help with boosting resilience and wellness in the workplace, you can book in for a free Zoom discovery chat. The Bend Like Bamboo at Work program can be delivered in person or virtually. And if you would like to inquire about Bend Like Bamboo at school, you can find information on all these programs on my website, amandacampbell.com.au. And you can contact me on email, amanda@bendlikebamboo.com. Thank you so much for supporting the podcast. And remember that flexibility builds resilience. And no matter what you are going through, you can overcome it and discover what you are made of. See you at the next session.